All right. Eddie Troxler here. This is jazzchat.org here for another hopefully exciting episode. I have a guest. Amazing Grace is a great tune, but that's not the only reason we're playing it. I have Robert Potterton III as my guest, who is the director over at Christ Church in Fitchburg. And I'm just finding out, I've been in the church a few times for different events. I haven't been to the services, but it's an Episcopal church. I just learned, and there's a lot of stuff going on. I know that there's some community orchestra stuff right there, right? Like anyone could play in, or is you need to audition?
Yeah, I mean, we get musicians from all over the place for various events, whether they're church related or outside groups.
Oh, okay. So is there a specific orchestra that is directed there that people could audition for?
We don't have a full orchestra, but we take whether it's individual musicians or ensembles that want to come in. Central Mass Brass is played there.
Yeah, I know a bunch of those people. They're good. They're really top-notch professional musicians. Yes. And it seems to be somewhat a different school of thought. Like I had Sam on, our mayor of our fair city last week, and we were talking about some of the venues that people play. There's a lot of clubs, so it's kind of a different school of thought, for lack of a better description. That to go, if I go to say the Paddock, I say, oh, can I sit in on a couple of tunes? Than to do something like you,
right?
And the people who are really good at chart reading and stuff seem to be much better at that than, say, if you find a guitar player over at the nearest lounge.
Right.
Say, look, we're playing this song.
Yeah.
So I think for me, as a having gone to music school, I try to find somewhat of a balance. It's not necessarily my forte. I've done some big band stuff, and I've done some theater work. We call it pit band work, and it's not something I love doing. So most of the time I'm thinking about when is this going to be finished.
Right. Yeah. So, that's kind of the reputation that church music has. Not just that some places it can be stuffy, but that it is very regimented, and that's certainly over the course of history that's been by and large what they've done. One of the things I love at Christ Church is that we do all styles. It's not just awesome. The choir and the organ. We've had a praise band recently. We got drums, sax. That's cool. Anything you can imagine, we do, and that's what I love about it.
And that's great, because I've actually had jobs in Catholic church. I wasn't raised Catholic, so I felt a little. I grew up Presbyterian, which is kind of a watered down.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same Bible.
Yeah,
but it's like it's not so strict and not so many rituals, maybe. So, but it was, a good experience. And knowing, I know that I don't know if your church, but they had to use certain songs certain times of the year.
We certainly have like a seasonal mix, because it's a church year, liturgical year that it's based. So we have the lead up to Christmas, during Advent time. And then there's the Christmas season. So every season has its own music, but stylistically it just runs. Through the whole
I think the Catholic, they kind of went by a universal Catholic guide of some kind that that they were, and they had the music, but they a lot of them are getting more and more. More pop sound and stuff, even the diehard, and not too. I think the one I was at, I don't think they did anything in Latin, but
yeah, in most places we'll pick something and stick to it. You have the super traditional places and the places that go all in on the contemporary, and they don't use organ or choir. And that's what I love about Christ Church, and the Episcopal Church in general tends to be kind of middle ground.
Yeah,
a little bit of everything, whatever works for a particular Sunday or season.
So, did you grow up with it, or you were?
I grew up in the church. I was a Lutheran in the beginning, and I worked in a Lutheran church out in Dedham for 7 years. And same thing there. They had kind of a mix, a little more on the traditional side. but I was trying to expand into the music and arts things beyond just what we did Sunday morning, trying to get into the community. And I had a really hard time there for a number of reasons. And then when the Christ Church job opened up, I saw the opportunity with Fitchburg, rising on its own. Yeah. It already had this established presence in the community as a, artistic and musical hub. So I wanted to, plug into that and see what I could do. And 10 years later, still there.
It's a beautiful building too. Did you know how far that dates back?
Yeah, so the church was founded in 1863. The oldest part of that building is 1868.
Wow, that's pretty old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. There's probably some really cool history in there.
Yes.
But I was in there Tuesday. I was telling you for the Cultural Alliance, and I didn't know there was a lot of other stuff going on. And also, if people could get space there, if they needed it, right, for an event or something, or if they wanted to do their own thing. I mean, for me, I mean, it's good. I know I've had a few guests on talking about opportunities to play, but for me, I don't drink. It's been a while since I drank alcohol or did any drugs or any of that stuff. So I don't necessarily want to hang out, mm-hmm. where it's not that I have. I mean, I know some people, they just won't go in the place. It doesn't bother me if I'm playing, if I have a reason to be there, but mm-hmm. I don't really like doing it. So places like you or even the stuff at the college, which I'm going to have Amy on in a couple of weeks.
Oh, great.
It's musicians, we can play, and we don't, you're not standing around watching people drink for an hour. Then
it's a very different scene.
Play for 20 minutes. And then
yeah,
it is, and I'm glad I've had both, and maybe not as much. I'm mostly a jazz player these days. I mean, I grew up playing classic rock, blues, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think maybe there's not so much as far as improvisation going on but it could be added, right?
Sure.
Like I know I've heard, like we did Amazing Grace. I've heard people do that in 4/4, mm-hmm. just like a blue. Sing Grace. You could just lay into it like a blues.
Yeah.
Into the 5, right? So there are options, but I think you want to work it out prior.
As much as possible. I mean, I like the improv too. That was a big part of what we did last spring. We had an evensong service, which is by and large traditional Episcopal Anglican mm-hmm. service, mm-hmm. but we did it as a jazz evensong, so all the music was jazz.
That's cool, and you just gave me one of those, right?
Yeah, that has one of those pieces that we did, and Amy from Fitchburg State was part of that.
Yeah, she's an excellent musician.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
And her husband too, Joe, is they're top-notch musicians, yes. And a great resource. I'm so happy they decided to make Fitchburg their home, because
mm-hmm. It benefits us all.
Yeah, it does. So with this Fos Hilaron, am I saying that?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Good. Yeah. Does that translate to anything?
Yeah, so it's in here it's translated joyous light, or as one of my teachers back in the day said, hilarious light, because it's the same root from Greek, from Hilaron, hilarious.
Oh, I see.
It's radiating joy, and this is a piece and a text that would be done traditionally at the beginning of the service when the candles are being lit. Mm-hmm. So it's accompanying that. It's set in a minor key. This is something I got commissioned to do for a jazz service that another church was doing.
Yeah, do you want to play through it?
Sure.
And this one is in 6/8. So for those, I guess if you're watching and you're an experienced player, you understand 6/8. There can be more than one type of 6/8. Generally, for me, and I have students who will ask me, "Oh, it's 3/4." No, it's not. Nothing like 3/4.
Yes.
To me, it's two groups of three. You're just swinging a two.
Yep, and that's the way this is laid out.
And then like a lot of gospel, they'll just say, "Oh, it's a 12/8 feel." Even though they write it in 4, mm-hmm. They mean they want to.
Right. Yeah, this definitely has that undercurrent to it.
Yeah, so that's 6/8. When I worked in a Catholic church for maybe, I don't know, not so long. I taught in Catholic schools before I was certified, and then I played a service at one at Gardner. But a lot of their 6/8 is not like a bluesy 6/8. To me.
Right. Depends on what you do with it, right?
It's kind of hard to get it to groove. I'm like, well, and some of theirs will switch. Like there'll be it'll go from different time signatures and different, and it's a little confusing to a musician. But,
it's hard to set a rhythm to that.
Yeah. They don't usually get up and clap and dance.
Right. It's not usually.
But was one of my first church experiences was when I was living in Boston. I was still a full-time student, and I was hired to play in this African-American church. And he was it was a great experience because it was mostly by ear. I mean, he was a little bit like kind of like Al Greenish. He would preach a while, then he would start singing. He was so we were like,
I love that
key,
style.
what key is he in?
Yeah.
So, but pretty much once we found the key, he would either go to the 4-chord or the 5-chord. So
not too bad.
So it wasn't that, but they were used to, the drummer just dropped right into it, anytime, like, because he had worked with the guy for a while. But that's that kind of the other side of, not the opposite, but the other side of liturgical music that and we have that's really good at that style in Fitchburg. Theo, do you know Theo? I think his father is the minister down there at the place on Botel Street.
Oh,
yeah. Theo's really good, and he there used to be a guy above my store that played a bass player that played church, and he was showing me they have what they call preacher chords.
Oh yeah,
they're behind him.
I'm really tempted to do that sometimes when we have guest clergy coming in.
Yeah.
Go, what have I got myself into?
Yeah, that's cool. So, sorry, I think I'm finished with this cold, but I had it for a few days, and then good, it's gone. But still, I might have to stop talking every now and then. So Foes Hill are on, and it looks like like the chords I see, there's kind of those type of jazzy type chords, you know what I mean?
Yep. And it's something that, if you eliminated some of those jazz chords, you could use just the melody on its own. It sounds like a church song, even in 6/8. You can make it sound churchy if you did it with an organ or a choir, but when you throw that kind of stuff on it.
Yeah, that's cool. And it was originally your song, or it was?
I wrote the music. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's cool. Yeah, let's let's play it. I'd like to hear it. Do you sing it too?
No, I'll just play it for now.
Okay. And if I feel like joining in, I'll, just
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how that goes.
Yeah, that's a nice piece. I like it. So that's you could play that any time during the service, or was it written for a specific?
Yeah, usually during that candle lighting at the beginning, but you could
Okay.
also just use it as a hymn
Yeah,
on a regular
that's
service. Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, and you've had people sing it. Did you record it anywhere? I mean,
Yeah, so we did it during the Jazz Even song, so that went up on the live stream. That's up on YouTube.
yeah. So you can look that up.
And it's published, so if anybody wants to buy it, you can find it online.
Yeah. Is it on like Spotify or
It's like
something? I don't
no,
know.
it's not on Spotify, but if you search it with my name, it'll pop up. And
That's cool. I'm sure you get a ton of royalties off of that.
someday.
I know people that were semi-famous. You know, when I lived in Boston, they said sometimes their stuff's not even worth cash. You know,
Oh, yeah.
They'll get these checks for 80
It's a
cents.
tough business. Yeah.
So I guess it depends on the type of contract you have. So I tell, you know, especially young musicians, be careful what you sign because it's
yeah.
you know we you would think there would be more protection, but it's still, you know, you hear about, you know, all the R&B artists of the 70s, you know, it's 60s and 70s, and then
Yeah.
but it still goes on, you know. It sounds like a good deal to a young band. Yeah, we're gonna give you guys
That's right,
20,
you're getting your stuff
20
out
grand. You know, we're gonna buy you new clothes, new car. They're like, yeah, let's. But that's nothing. If you go on the road and you're splitting that between five people,
doesn't amount to much.
nah. And then they a lot of times they'll lock you into a contract. You can't get out and do other stuff. You know, so it's kind of.
Yeah, got to protect your property.
That's true. The services at Christ Church, they're open to everybody, I assume.
Absolutely.
And what time are your services?
Yep. So Sunday morning, regular services. There's an 8:30. That's a spoken traditional language service. If anybody wants to do that kind of thing, and there's a 10:30 a.m. and that's the service that's, you know, modern language and with all the music. So our choir is there. We got about 20 singers that are there every Sunday singing. We use our pipe organ, which is one of the largest in the area, 4,000 pipes.
That's cool. I didn't even know they had a pipe organ in there.
Yeah, it's a nice instrument. That
And
was one of the things that attracted me to go there.
It takes a lot of maintenance, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, yes.
Yeah, do you work on it, or you have some?
Only as much as I have to, but we have Bill Saluzniak.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I
he
know him from
does a lot of the big organs around here, so he's been taking care of that organ for a long time.
I know when I worked at Holy Rosary, they I think they got that one done.
Probably.
I mean, it's called Annunciation Parish or something now.
Right.
But I did you grow up around here? Are you from
Connecticut.
Connecticut. So
Yeah.
you told me. I grew up in North Carolina, but I met this guy. I was in the pipe organ in a Masonic temple. I was doing some stuff. My father was pretty active, and then I went through when I was younger. But I got to talking to the organist, and he had rebuilt that whole organ himself, and he was the organ. You know, he played, and I started asking him how did he learn to do all this, and he toured with Ringling Brothers.
Wow, that's one way to do it.
He said they had a pipe organ and that he had to work on it on the road. You know, it was like always working.
I always get
on
different reactions when you say you're an organist. Sometimes people assume church. I just assume people will assume church, but then sometimes people will think of things like that. Like, oh, have you ever played in a circus? Like, I played at Polar Park a couple times.
Yeah, they
years.
do. They used to use that at
Every summer I go a couple times and play the organ at Polar Park for the games, which is fun.
That's cool.
And a completely different, set of skills than it is to play for a church service.
And a couple of the rock bands in the 60s and 70s used them, right? Yeah, was it? Well, I think Led Zeppelin used one, and No Quarter or something.
Yeah, we try to incorporate those sounds as well because we've got a really nice Yamaha Montage keyboard that we just got a couple of years ago, and a Roland digital drum kit, and all various percussion instruments, and we got somebody that plays guitar every week, so it's nice.
And it's to me it's incredible to hear a pipe organ live. You can listen to it on YouTube or whatever, but it has no comparison
it's
to
designed for the room.
just that whole presence of the vibration of the whole building, because they're pretty much built into the building.
Oh yes.
So yeah, you feel that that sound coming through you.
Yeah, it's worth coming to Christ Church just to hear the organ. Just come Sunday morning and you can experience it that way.
Yeah, and that's Episcopal. It's not they're not really gonna push you. You're not a really pushy.
No, absolutely not. No, everybody's welcome at Christ Church. People, said it's a very welcoming place. That's part of the reason I'm there. Because I'm not just an employee there. I brought my family, from the church in Dedham. So we wanted a place that we would all feel comfortable. In addition to the choir. Oops, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
In addition to the choir, we have a chorister program for kids.
That's why I put my phone to the car.
I know. Usually I have it off, right?
Yeah, it's like if I go to do not disturb, then I forget to put it back on.
That's right. Yep, that's what I do too.
I've been trying to call you all day. I'm like, really?
Yeah. So we have a chorister program for kids as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because that's important. And then I know Fitchburg in general is fairly multicultural. Do you have like services in other languages?
Not right now, but we're certainly open to that. And we do music in other languages. This coming Sunday, we've got a choir anthem in German by Bach. And then at the communion time, we're doing a piece that's in Spanish. And a couple weeks ago, we did one that was in Swahili.
Wow!
So we cover a lot of different things.
That's really cool. So I may have some, like I've been doing my brunch gig at Pauper's Pantry, but this week is their last week, so maybe I can make my appearance.
That'd be great, and it's going to be even easier when you're playing Pauper's Pantry after they make the move.
Yeah. I love the Bach stuff though. There was the church on Newberry Street in Boston. Do you know they do the Bach cantatas? Every Sunday.
I wish we could do that.
That's 15 Newberry Street. Yeah, if you're a fan of Bach, and
that's the place to go if you like Bach. Yeah,
some absolutely. Of those old churches in Boston are quite incredible, but yours too. I mean, and I was told like Trinity Church in Boston. This is I was an RA when I was at Berkeley, so they. I got to do all the tours with the new students. That a lot of those were carried over. They would use the bricks for the keels in the ships, and they would
those old Boston churches.
So they were actually brought over from England.
That's amazing.
So I was like, man, that was like, how did you like? Even one would be like,
right?
They didn't have like forklifts or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know how they managed that.
Yeah, and even the 1800s, how did they, how could you put the bricks up higher? That's probably not going to sound good. Cool. We're at about 23 minutes, about 24 minutes. But do you want to do some more music, or you have anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, talking to the church, not just the stuff that we have going on as a church and music program, but we talked about the fact that the Fitchburg Cultural Alliance is in residence. So they've got their Main Street studios that used to be down this way. They're all up in the second floor now, so they have resident artists. They're there every day making their art. We have some of it on display in the foyer now by one of the artists.
That's what they were telling me. There's a gallery, a small gallery in the hall.
Yeah, there's a little gallery space that we worked in because we want people to know that they're there, and we're trying to do everything we can to push that. Stratton Players Theater Group. Is in residence in our guild hall, so they've got all their stuff in there. They do shows a couple times a year.
So there's the other one too, the new guild.
New Players.
Okay, so they're always. I usually do the Christmas show with Barbara, and they're always there. I forget that I'm plugged in. It probably comes through on that. So yeah, there are some great opportunities at that church, and not just religious events, So and you're open to anybody, right?
And if you're looking for a space, whether it's for a community event or birthday party, anything you look for an event space, Christ Church is open to do that. You just go on the website, fill out a form, and it goes to me, and we'll work with you.
That's awesome. That's an awesome resource to have here in Fitchburg. And we've been, and we could say, like if we wanted to do a concert or something, that would, because I think you have, like we've done some events in the senior center. The sound is not so.
Oh no, yeah. That's too bad.
But I think your place is more. They thought about the sound a little bit.
They did, yes. We're working on that in Guild Hall where Stratton Players are because they have the stage and it's set up for spoken word, but it's a really reverberant hall. So we're in the process of trying to get it so that's better for spoken word for theater productions.
Yeah,
there.
it's sometimes just hanging like curtains or tapestry or something. I think,
we have a consultant coming in to give us some quotes on things and getting sound reinforcement. The worship space that we use, that we call the nave, which is, if you're looking at the building from Main Street, it's on the left side with the big stained glass windows. We have a state-of-the-art sound system that we put in there about 10 years ago. We just got a new mixer, a nice 24-channel board. And live stream. We have a 4-camera live stream set up as well. So if somebody wants to come in and do a concert and they want to live stream on Facebook, we just hook it up with your account and we're good to go.
That's awesome. And they rent this space. It's for rent, right? Yeah. So that's a great resource too, for whatever you want to do. Just get in touch. Christchurch, that address is
ChristchurchFitchburg.org.
ChristchurchFitchburg.org. Or you can call me, jazzchat.org, or Eddie's Music. Most people know where to find me around here. But, you may be watching from another place. Last week when I had the mayor on, we were talking about what brought me to Fitchburg was lower cost of living, and I never even knew it existed. We were living in Boston and wanted to buy a house. Do you want to go out on a song? We got about 3 minutes.
Sure.
What are you thinking?
Let's see, what was that? How about the Ode to Joy?
The Ode to Joy, yeah.
On that?
And what key you're doing that in?
That's in G.
It's just a plain old Ode to Joy?
Melody's plain old. Some of the harmonies are something special.
I'll just kind of...
Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's
written by Beethoven. I mean, I'm
not sure he'd approve of the harmonization, but yeah.
Well, he might not have approved of the joyful we adore him either. Because the German, I don't speak German, but I don't think they're even close to what is in the hymn books, are they?
Yeah, the original piece was secular. Yeah, it wasn't a sacred
that's what
piece.
I thought. Yeah,
right.
And it was the choral symphony, and I think at the time they. When they first came out, it was a bigger orchestra than ever before, and no one had added vocals, and
it was crazy piece.
A lot of people didn't like it. Is from what I remember from music history.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have about 30 seconds. But thank you so much
for
coming on and Christchurch, Fitchburg, Mass. And I'm Eddie Troxler, and thanks to FATV who make all of this possible. FATV, they're really good at helping us, and they're as well as our other organizations are nonprofit, and if you would like to make a donation of any kind. All right, thank you so much for watching. We're out of here.
Thanks again.